What is up, YouTube world? I'm Ashley D. Before I get started, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. Also, feel free to share this brief video as well. Everything I state is allegedly not a guaranteed fact, my own personal opinion and observation. So I'm going to try to keep this video brief tonight. I was not going to do it, but I appreciate my loyal sub sending me a couple of things that were very disturbing to me. But before I speak on that, I would like to wish each and every one of you out there a very Merry Christmas. I hope today you took time out to spend time with your family or people that you're close to and cherish these moments because they don't last forever. Now, something that was sent to me that was very disturbing about Nasty Nate. Wesley Snipes' brother said on his panel and said this storyline is dead, it's over with. Only reason people from this side are speaking on this deal is because it's a money grab. Lieonya is trying to move on with her life clearly, and people are still dragging this lady, right? But yet, she thinks it's okay for her to continue to antagonize this man's brother. And I don't know if you understand the dynamic of siblings, but when you speak on one, you might as well speak on them all because they stick together. You said you're not going to speak on the truth. You want him to move on with his life, but yet you're going to continue to speak and antagonize and poke at his brother and try to drag him based off of him associating with his best friend that is a grown man, that makes every decision on his own, that he was not around when these alleged accusations came out. He was at home with his wife. But since these accusations came out about this grown man, you're going to continue to drag, antagonize, and poke at Mr. Wesley. Make it make sense. So basically, you're trying to say, because he's affiliated, because that's his friend, whatever goes on with his friend, we're going to tie him to that because he's around him, right? Okay, so since we're tying people to people that they're close to, and because they're around them, they have to be like them, right? So let's ask ourselves this question. Why is Lieonya brother allegedly in jail for crimes against children sexually, allegedly? So does that make Lieonya that way? Does that make her a predator? Does that make her affiliated with that type of crime against children? Does that make her okay with that? Wasn't it also allegedly that Lieonya's father as well? Same mother, same father, same last name, as well as her father, has crimes against him of allegedly sexual things, right? So that's two people in Lieonya's life. A mother, 31, with 4 minor children. That's associated with 2 biological people with sexual crimes against them, allegedly. Does that make her that way? Now, we're going to go further. You so funny, right? Man, you so funny. He has sexual crimes allegedly against him with children as well. Minors. That's 3. The other 2 are blood. She can't control that. So what is the excuse for the other one, the third man? Why was he in her home? Why is she associated with someone like that has these type of crimes against them? If we saw that over here, the people across the street with our eyes clearly, she saw it too. She socialized with him. She did a video with him. This man knows where she lives. He was hanging out with her. He was in her house. He was on your panel with her freely, discussing her relationship with her ex-man, constantly bashing him, and she co-signing it. So is she like that? She's affiliated and biological, some kin to 2 people with crimes against them allegedly sexually with minors. And she's okay with these people. She interacts with them on a regular. One of them lives with her. So is she just as guilty of that crime? Is that what you're trying to say, Nate? Because it seems like you're trying to tie Mr. Wesley to some accusations against his friend. That is a grown man that he cannot control what this man chooses to do and engaging in his own time. So we're going to pull the blanket back and we're going to associate people with people that they interact with that are adults, consensual adults doing what they want and chooses to do. Then what about Lieonya? Let's hold her accountable for the things that she does have control over. She's hanging out with an alleged pedophile. Her brother and her father are alleged ones, allegedly. So if you're going to start pointing fingers, you need to turn around with your finger and point it at your people. Because she is a volunteer being around this man that she knows has a record that we all know. And she has 4 children around him. And she does not know him like that. Make it make sense. Now, you want us to leave Lieonya alone. She wants to move on clearly. But a few days ago, she sat at the Olive Garden with her youngest daughter. She didn't have any content. It could have been a beautiful thing. She sent her kids away for Christmas. She was probably waiting for that day so she could run behind Mr. Ed. But her D-list celebrity had something else to try to do. Probably push off his bootleg merch that nobody is buying. And the only reason now, all of a sudden, you guys want us to stop speaking on her and you want to leave Mr. LaTruth alone because her skeleton's out. Her skeletons is out the closet. Her text messages are exposed. She is supposedly a DV victim of her boyfriend now. She wants to move on, but she put all those text messages, including that picture she tried to pin on her soon-to-be ex-husband. But we supposed to leave her alone? We supposed to say, oh, she's trying to move on? She texts these things in a group text to people about the things he's done to her. He spit on her. He attacked her. He went off on her several times. He took something back from her children and said, forget them and the kids. Forget her and the kids. Not to mention many more other things that were exposed. And she continues to stand 10 toes down by him. And you guys continue to turn a blind eye once again. And it would be so easy to move on. But what did she do? She turned around and decided to put it on her ex. When she'd been exposing everything else, now all of a sudden she held on to a picture for a whole year and a few months with a scratch on her neck. When she didn't have anything else to prove or back up her accusations, you're trying to tell us that she held on to that picture to this very moment. When it finally was exposed that it was her boyfriend, her man-child doing this to her. Now you want us to believe that, she's exposing this on Mr. LaTruth. Who do you think we are? You turn a blind eye over there, but we just point out credible facts. We just point out the evidence. We just prove whatever that you guys put out is wrong and it's not accurate. And you guys make the job so very easy to do. You pretend as though she wants to move on now that Dawn has exposed all her text messages and her truth is out. The same thing she tried to accuse her ex soon to be of is exactly what she's going through with this man. And she's covering it up and trying to put it on him. We saw on the tape, she thought it was funny and cute for her 9-month-old man-child that was showing to be holding her youngest daughter and pretend as though the father is out there. And for her to go off and seem triggered and seem scared, like it was some type of violence in that home that she witnessed when her father was gone for quite amount of time. By all this time, whatever went on, the arguing back and forth, she would have forgotten about by now. Unless it was something that was so traumatic. Like the things that go on between her and Mr. Ed privately, those are the traumatic things that she will remember. Those are the things that will trigger her to act the way you want us to pretend as though she acting from her father. the type of mother you are. You say things around her. You probably pointed at a picture and said his name and said he was bad. We saw on a video for ourselves that you didn't think twice about dropping your daughter off and how excited she was holding her book in her hand, getting ready to go see her father. And not one time did you tell her or you bend down and say, call mommy if you need me for anything. Not one time was she tugging and pulling on you, not wanting to go, being scared or frightened. She was smiling on that video. We also saw when you played the 21 question game and your man could only answer 2 about you, that your daughter came in front of the camera and she talked about a horse. And she was excited to say her daddy got it for her. And we saw on your face how upset you was. Had that camera not been on, you probably would have threw the horse across the room because you can't stand your ex-husband. And we also saw in a loving, gentle way how excited and happy she was to share that. We also saw in a loving way how comforting and soothing he was and loving on his daughter and both of his daughters. How he taught her so many things that you probably would never teach her. How he's been a real father gang from day one to her, to his oldest daughter, as well as your children. More than your man-child is trying to pretend to be. So you're trying to tell us that since all of this happened, something has triggered her. He hasn't been in the house, but when she was getting dropped off to his new house and you guys were on the steps, she was pretty excited. So I'm trying to wrap my mind around what triggered her all of a sudden to have that response in the Olive Garden. What triggered her all of a sudden to be holding on to the door when your man-child was trying to pretend as though he was outside waiting on her? What transpired in this amount of time, and he hasn't been in the house since then, and he saw her? And we clearly saw on the camera that she did not have any problem getting dropped off at the house. But you go to the Olive Garden and you sit down and you ask her a couple questions because you have no content and you want to try to prove that he's a bad father. And you've drilled that in her head long enough so the therapist can say something, write something off, and the counselor can say something and write it off. And we also saw you on an open panel discuss unaliving this man in front of thousands of people. And we also saw you share with someone a private location where they could find him. So if people are wondering why he's not coming to the house, getting his daughter, why he's not responding in the way that they would or he should, because he's smart. We saw for ourselves on numerous occasions how Lieonya is when she does not have her way and what she says when she's unhinged. So I can only begin to imagine, for safety reasons, why things are taking longer than what we expected. Why he's being safe and protecting his life and not just going over there, taking her word and picking up his daughter. We have to be honest with ourselves. Lieonya is the worst kind of bitter baby mama there is out there. And for her to sit at a table when we know she's put stuff in this child's head, when we saw for ourselves that she was okay spending time with her daughter, with her dad, even after this separation. But now we're supposed to think within this quick time span that she's triggered by something. Maybe you should call your new man-child Robert. Because that's what's triggering her in that household. That's the only thing that's toxic that's going on that has her scared, walking on pins and needles, not knowing when you two are going to get into it. You have the nerve to say you want to leave Mr. LaTruth alone and she's moved on, but clearly she's bitter, she's upset, and she's still hurt, and she's still taking jabs at this man. But you feel as though we have no content and we have no reason to speak on it. But she's entitled to continue to mess up his reputation. And when you guys want to pretend you're moving on, then there you go, attacking his brother. There you go, having a video that's going to premiere tomorrow speaking on his brother and his best friend, who's a grown man. And what his best friend chose to do in his private time that had absolutely nothing to do with Miss Wesley, Mr. Wesley. If you're going to point the fingers, you need to point them in the right direction. And if you're going to pull people's stuff out of their closet, you might as well let Lieonya's stuff keep coming out, because she has stuff in there as well. All you guys do is contradict yourselves. All you do is take away the heat from one thing and point it somewhere else. You will be a fool if you think that this man will be okay with you antagonizing his brother and people not sticking up for it. People not speaking out about it. Like, how's it okay for you to lay off one sibling, but you think it's okay for you to antagonize another? This man has done absolutely nothing to any one of you over here. You're questioning his living situation with his wives that is in their private life that has absolutely nothing to do with anyone. This man has had a newborn child, and he has not had a chance to enjoy that because you're over there antagonizing him. We have Cauliflower, Chase the Rainbow, Dreadhead, Greasy Face, continuing to talk and then spread chaos on other panels with bitter females that never will have a man in their life, that cannot identify with a real man because they're bitter and angry. You may not agree with his living situation. You may not agree with the things he chooses to do, but that is his life. And he's human. And he does not deserve to continue to get dragged. He deserves to enjoy his newborn child just like any other person that has had a newborn child into this world. You think Lieonya supposed to be able to take a break and be free. She's only 31 years old. She doesn't deserve this. But everything that is talked about, everything that is spoken on, it is the things that Lieonya has put out. It is the things that Lieonya has constantly done that's contradicted her actions. But the difference between her and Mr. Wesley is he's not asking for this. He's not asking you to create content about him. He's not sitting on a panel bashing anyone. He's telling his truth. He's standing up for himself. That's the difference between Lieonya and Mr. Wesley. She wants the attention. She thrives off of drama. I am Ashley D. Please feel free to leave your opinion down below what you think about this situation. I just think it's crazy that they want to keep speaking on this man. I was not going to say anything today. Today is Christmas, but I found some time. I will be keeping you guys posted. I wish you all a blessed, safe holiday. Take care.